And time to take a look at what's making headlines across the globe. And I'm joined in the studio by Solange Moujan. Hello, Solange.
Hi, Annette.
And you're starting off with the fact that today marks, of course, the 100th day of that war in Ukraine.
Yeah, let's begin with the Kiev Independent. It is focusing today on Washington's relationship with Kiev, with the U.S. vowing, quote, a steadfast commitment to help. The site also published a piece this morning about how Russian forces are struggling to establish, quote, societal control in occupied areas. Meanwhile, other papers, well, they're taking a look back from how, for example, from the get-go, Ukraine, quote, won the communications war, according to Le Figaro, and then forced Russian troops to pull back to the east. Meanwhile, Le Parisien wonders how long will Ukrainians need to be heroes? The paper dreads that they fear that this could be, quote, a long, bogged-down war. And that, according to CNN, is exactly what Vladimir Putin is counting on, or that the world's attention moves on and becomes indifferent to land grabs.
OK, now for a bit of joyful news. The British papers, of course, commenting on yesterday's kick-off of the Platinum Jubilee.
Yeah, or Platty Jubes, as it is now being called on social media. It's gone a bit viral, this term, Platty Jubes. Didn't we give her a deafening cheer? That is the headline today of the Daily Mail, as it notes that the Queen has decided not to attend today's church service after feeling some discomfort yesterday. While the 96-year-old remains the star of the festivities, the Daily Mirror said that it was 4-year-old Prince Louis who stole the show at Buckingham Palace. And like the tabloids, cartoonists are also joining in on the glee. Chapat paid tribute with what is the longest reign in the world's history, with the Queen saying that she's ready for 70 more years. And Charles, they're looking a bit glum about that. For Peter Brooks, it is family troubles that were on display, with the elephants in the room being Prince Harry and Prince Andrew. Andrew is persona non grata after a sex court case. He is, as Michael de Adder of the Post puts it, the family member that the Queen's beloved dogs, corgis, will pee on.
OK, now staying with the monarchy, the King of Belgium is going to head to the Democratic Republic of Congo to sort of basically make amends over the country's very troubled colonial past.
Yeah, and as Politico tells us, the kingdom has accepted to return a tooth belonging to the DRC's first prime minister, Patrice Lumumba. It is a great read about how this tooth was long kept as a sort of trophy of sorts by those who assassinated him and then dissolved his body in acid. Now Belgium is slated to return the tooth to the DRC, which many there say is being hailed as a historic relief.
To El Salvador, and this is an extraordinary figure, Solange.
Yeah.
Nearly 2% of the adult population are in prison.
Yeah, it's quite shocking. Amnesty International is raising the red flag about the fact that 36,000 El Salvadorians have been arrested in just over 2 months. The security crackdown is orchestrated by President Nayib Bukele to clamp down on crime. But as The Guardian tells us, there is little to no due process and, quote, a total collapse of rule of law. However, as El Diario de Hoy, a local paper, explains, polls show that most Salvadorians, well, they're enthusiastic about this perceived drop in crime. It may come, though, at the cost of a systemic dismantling of the country's institutions.
Okay, change of pace here. This is a bit of news on the science front. There's a new study which talks about why giraffes have long necks.
Yeah, and I find this so cool. It may not be because they want to eat high leaves. As the Daily Star tells us, it may evolutionarily be for sex. This is a hypothesis that the site Science dives into, explaining that there's a study of fossils that showed that the animals with longer necks, well, they were able to swing their heads with more force and thus beat out the competition to gain the attractiveness for the lady giraffes.
And to the US, to the National Spelling Bee, which I love,
Yeah,
and it
it's-
wrapped up last night.
Yeah, it's so fun to watch. This is the first time, too, that there was a speed spelling segment. Both the winner, 14-year-old Harini Logan, and her 12-year-old competitor, well, they spelled so fast that the judges needed to look at a recording of the speed duel. Harini won, having spelled 21 largely unheard of terms in the 1 minute and a half face-off.
Impressive.
It's very impressive.
Now, of course, you knew that there was an Australian presenting today,
Yes, I
and you've got a story to wrap up the press review about something which has a very distinct taste and something which I admit I love.
Yes, and it creates a link between smell and taste. The City of Melbourne Council decided unanimously to declare the smell of Vegemite, of a Vegemite factory, a significant heritage. It is, The Guardian tells us, a sign of the emerging field of olfactory heritage. The label, though, doesn't mean that the site will have protected status, but that the smell, or should I say stink to some, I don't think it smells that bad, well, it should be acknowledged. And this is a case in point, I guess, that French people aren't the only ones that are attached to stinky things like cheese. In addition to Australians, Americans too, they want their own kind of funky food, according to Food and Wine. In another article, it pays tribute to an ad of my childhood, the ads of my childhood, entitled, "Pardon me, do you have any Grey Poupon or ice cream?" The site explains that a gourmet nationwide ice cream maker has come out with a new flavor. You see it there in the title, mustard ice cream. The article, though, does not tell us whether or not this flavor tingles your nose or has a specific smell.
I think I might pass on that.
Oh, I'll try it. Why not?
Good on you. That's Solange Moujin with the press review. And of course, if you want to take a look at the stories that we've been talking about, you can head to our website, that being France24.com.